So, I failed my degree. I didn't fail it. I didn't fail my degree. I didn't fail my GCSEs. And I didn't fail my A-levels. But I didn't exactly get a grade that most people would be proud of. It's one of those topics for me that is really touchy. So talking about it is hard. But I want anyone who may be in the same position with GCSEs coming out and stuff like that, A-levels coming out, results, university results coming out, anything that you may be getting results for, anyone that's in the same position or anyone who may have experienced something similar, to know that you're not alone and to feel empowered enough to realise that although we may not have got A stars, we can still succeed, we will still succeed. And yeah, that is why I'm making this video. A little bit about my background. I have done all 3 sets now, so I've done GCSE, A-levels and just finished my university degree. When I did my GCSEs, I really felt like I put a lot of work into it. I did put a lot of work into it. I worked very hard for my GCSEs. I revised really hard. But then when they came out, I didn't do awfully actually, looking back. I probably did the best in my GCSEs than I did in A-levels and university. But I didn't get like the grades that I wanted. So yeah, and then same kind of thing happened at A-level. I worked really hard when I was doing my exams. Like I just didn't get the results that I wanted to get. I've just completed my university degree, so it's still kind of sore. With university you get your grades very much scattered out, so it's not a case of one day that you get like a list of results like you do at A-level and GCSE. But I knew that I was on course for a 2-1. Pretty much from year 2 I did really well in my second year, and then obviously going into 3rd year and being pregnant, it made things a little bit harder, especially when I was being sick. I got some grades that were like 2s at the beginning of the year because I literally was just throwing up, and that's kind of what happened there. And then I did my dissertation, worked so hard for that, and I just didn't do very well. I got 48 marks for my dissertation, which is classed as a 3rd in the UK, and I was so heartbroken by that grade, because when you, and if you've been in this situation you'll know exactly what I mean, but when you work really hard for something and then someone comes back to you and says like that is worth a 3rd, which is pretty much a D, it fucking hurts. And me being the person that I am, I'm really kind of sensitive to comments and to like negativity. And maybe I shouldn't be, but especially when I know like I've worked really hard or something, it's not nice. And I think why it hurt even more this year is because I really felt that I might be able to turn things around for my degree and actually do well and like break the trend of doing shit. But the grade that I got for my dissertation is most likely going to mean that my overall grade for my university is going to be a 2-2, which if you like are planning on going to uni or like you are in uni, that's kind of like the grade that you don't want. Obviously it's not a fail, it's not a 3rd, it's not awful, but it's not really what you want. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into my history. Basically what I want this video to be about is just giving you tips and advice on what to do next, okay? You've got your results, it's not what you wanted. What do you do next? And I honestly think after 3 disappointing results, I kind of know like what to do next, like kind of have an idea of the best way to react and like the not so good way to react, so you can learn from me. Tip number 1 is to give yourself 1 day to be sad. So when I got my results for my dissertation, when I got my result for my GCSE and my A-level and it wasn't what I wanted, I usually, you know, with A-levels and GCSE it was a little bit different because you kind of at that point you're like rushing around, and I'll get into that as another separate point. You kind of at that point when you're rushing around and you're thinking, okay, what do I do next? Like, what's my next step? So it's not necessarily a case of like you can just spend the day lolling around and crying because you want to know what's happening or what you can do. For my dissertation mark, when I got that grade, I just spent the day, I was really not happy. I did try to like get up and do some stuff, but for me, I find, and this isn't just for results but with anything, if you get some news or if you're like disappointed with something, you need to give yourself that 1 day to be sad and to cry and to just like lay around and watch TV and just try and like forget or take your mind off it. But you need that 1 day because you can't spend the rest of your life moaning and moping around about it. So you do need to give yourself some time so that after you've had that day you can say, okay, I've had my day where I'm going to be upset and now I'm going to move on, and that's it. Because at the end of the day there's nothing you can do about it. Those are the results, that's what's happened. Move on, it's time to move on. Okay, so my next tip is to go out and enjoy yourself. So on that results day, a lot of your friends probably have got the results they wanted. Maybe there are plans to go out and do something. Don't just say, oh, because I got shit grades, like I can't go out and enjoy myself now. You need that, like you really need that. I did this for both my GCSEs and my A-level results when they came out. Both of those times I went out, I enjoyed myself, I let my hair down, and I felt so much better for it as well. Unless you're a sad drunk, and then you may spend a little bit more time crying, but that's okay because it's still in the day that you're allowed to be upset. For the dissertation mark, I couldn't do that because I'm pregnant, so I can't go out, I can't get drunk. Wish I could, but most of you will be able to. But yeah, just give yourself that time. It might not be going out, maybe you don't enjoy that, maybe it's just going out to eat or just hanging out with your friends, like just whatever makes you happy, whatever chills you out, you need to do that, and you need to not beat yourself up about what it was, and allow yourself time to let your hair down and just forget about it. Literally just use that night that you're out to just forget about it and enjoy what is right in front of you right there. Tip number 3, I touched on it briefly, is to work out what's next. So work out your steps and what you're going to do next, and also to know that it's okay to change your plans. If you already had a path laid out in your head, it's okay if that path goes off. Like, that is life. We cannot plan our lives out as much as we may want to. If it so happens that you can't go to the particular university you wanted to go to, or if you can't go to the school that you wanted to go to next, like, it's fine, that's okay, that's just meant to be. Like, that's always what is in the back of my mind. Everything happens for a reason. So if you didn't end up in that place you thought you were supposed to end up, you'll end up somewhere else, and maybe it will be even better. You can't regret things like that because you never know. You know, I am thinking about how my degree may affect a future job and things like that, but you know, the world is a very open place and we are so young that we're so lucky in that respect that the world is literally our oyster. We can go and do anything we want to do, anything we put our mind to. So just give yourself that time to do a little bit of research, work out if you want to change your path, if if you want to change the course that you're doing, or if there's just another route for you to go to get to where you want to be. And I think that's a really important tip as well, because there's always another way. It's never just one straight line. There's always another way to get to where you want to be. And you just cannot let something like someone's interpretation of your work deflate your confidence and make you think that you can't do what you wanted to do, because of course you can do what you wanted to do. Okay, so tip number 4. So obviously you've just got your grades, you're not happy with them. We're always looking for someone to blame, right? And in some cases we definitely have someone to blame, or we think that the mark may be wrong. So there's always like a question in our head: should we get it remarked? Is there a way we can get it remarked? And I've never gone down the route of getting anything remarked before, because I've always just assumed, like, you know, it's most likely that's just what it is. So I've never really done that. Also, I know it can be quite a lengthy process. For my dissertation, I was actually thinking of getting it remarked, because you get comments on your dissertation, so I could see exactly what and why my lecturer had marked me the way that they had. So I was going to go down the route of getting it remarked because I didn't agree with all the comments. But it is a lot harder at university to get things remarked, just because of the way that it is. I think every university may be different. For my particular university, they won't remark my work. So it's just the case of, if you think it's worth it, if you have the energy to do it, because it may take up a lot of your time and effort, and in some cases it's just not worth it, and you just think, let me just move on, let me just put this to one side and let's try again another time. But if you really do think that your work has been unfairly marked, then definitely go for it, but just keep in mind that it may be a long process and you may not get anywhere with it. So really just bear that in mind. But if you do want to do it and you do really feel strongly about it, for me personally as well, I've never done this before, but I feel very strongly about this, so I am going to be going down a route of complaining about one of my lecturers who assisted me through my dissertation, and that is purely because the reason is because I don't think I received the help and support that I should have got for my dissertation, and I think that that has led to the outcome of my dissertation. It's not necessarily that my mark for my dissertation was wrong, but that the support and the help that should have been assisted with the dissertation was just not there. So number 5 is a little bit of a strange one, but I've always found after I get my results and they're not exactly what I wanted, I've always found that I don't really want to be on social media, because a lot of people post their amazing grades on social media, and I don't really want to talk to friends who have got like higher grades than me, like a lot higher, or have just done a lot better and they're really happy with that. And I suppose that's kind of a selfish thing, and I'll always congratulate my friends if they've done well and stuff like that, but when you're in that mood and you're in that moment, like, the last thing you need is someone coming up to you being like, hey, well, I got an A star, or I got a first, or, and it's like, I'm happy for you, yes, but at the same time I'm really upset about my grade. Like, I don't really want to hear that right now. And you know, in some ways that's kind of selfish, and if you can hear other people speaking about their high grades and it not affecting you, then go ahead. But I know for me personally it would make me more upset, so I would not be rude or go out of your way to not speak to them. But if you need that time, like I was saying before about having that one day where you just have that one day to yourself, if you need that time, then just say to them, look, I'm not being rude, like, I'm a bit upset at the moment and I just need some time to myself. And I'm sure if they're a good friend, they'll understand anyway. Plus, if they're a good friend, they shouldn't be bragging about their firsts if they know that you've done badly. Also, I know some people's families, it may be difficult. I mean, I have been like super lucky where my family and my closest friends have been super supportive every time I've done badly and haven't made me feel bad about it or anything like that. So I've been really lucky, but I know for some people one of the hardest things to do is to tell your family about the grades. And in that situation, the only thing I can say is tell them about the grades, and if they're going to be rude, if they're going to be mean, take yourself away from that situation. Don't put yourself in that situation where you're going to have to listen to negative comments, because you're probably beating yourself up more than they ever could, and you really don't need other people's negativity to be making it worse for you. Tip number 6 is just to remember that grades really aren't everything. I know for some careers they're a lot more important than others, but even so, as I said before, if you really want to do something, you have to let your determination and your ambition get it there for you, not the grades. Just some examples of some people that have done really well. We've got Alan Sugar, who left school at 16. He left school at 16. His net worth is 1.15 billion. Okay, and he didn't get a single degree. He didn't get a single A-level. I'm not sure if he got any GCSEs. Richard Branson had dyslexia, so he wasn't even like super academic either. He also left school at 16. His net worth is 5.1 billion. And Simon Cowell had 1 GCSE. His net worth is 550 million. So these are just some examples of people, and there are so many examples of people that either did badly or didn't get their proper GCSEs, A-levels or degree, and have used their determination and what they know and their practical skills to get them to be where they want to be. And those people for me are such inspirational people, because they didn't let small things like bad grades stop them from doing what they wanted to do and being where they wanted to be. They didn't let one person, one examiner, tell them that they're only worth a D, or they're only worth a C, or their work is only a 3rd or a 2-2. They knew what they had inside them, and they used that to propel them, and that is something that's so inspirational to me, and it should be to anyone that is looking to do the same thing as well. Number 7 is to make sure that you are doing what you enjoy at the end of the day. We only get one life. Why waste it doing things that we don't enjoy? You can make whatever you want happen. You can always do whatever you want to do with the right determination, and no one should ever tell you that you can't do something. And if they do, block it out. Honestly, block it out, block them out, because they are so not worth it. No one can tell you that you can't do something, and if they do tell you that, go and prove them wrong. And then number 8 is to think about making improvements for next time. Now, as I said, for me, I do feel like I put in 110% effort for all my grades, and it just didn't get me where I wanted it to be. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. I'm not an academic person, and as much as I try, it obviously just isn't for me. But maybe if you do look back and you think, well, maybe I could have done a little bit more work here, or maybe I should have done that, and don't beat yourself up about it, because at the end of the day, I'm sure you did as much as you could. I'm sure you worked super duper hard. Sometimes it just doesn't happen the way we want it to. But if you do find little bits that maybe you think you could have done, just remember them for next time. So if you've just done your GCSEs, just remember them for your A-levels and use that to propel you further. The point that I really want to get across here, and for something that I have done, no matter how upset I've been after every grade, is that I've not let it get down. I've not let it destroy me. I've not let it tell me that I can't do what I wanted to do. I have used it as motivation to push me further. And no, that hasn't paid off with my grades, but I'm hoping that it will pay off with my career. And I think it's just a good quality to have in general, is that when something gets you down, you pick yourself up again and you keep going, because what else can you do? So those are all my tips. I know it's hard. I know it's heartbreaking. It's the worst feeling in the world, and I've had to go through it 3 times. But, you know, it's not the end of the world. There are a lot worse things to happen to someone than getting a couple of bad grades. And it definitely shouldn't stop you from doing what you want to do. So I know this has been like kind of a different kind of video, but it's something that's very close to my heart. And it's something that I really wanted to give advice on and to talk about as well, because, I mean, I could talk about this for days. Like, seriously, I have so much to say on this topic. And to be honest, I have so much anger towards the education system at the moment, because I think it's completely fucked up the way they mark us. I don't think it's right, the pressure that is put on young people to do exams and to do assignments. And I just don't agree with it, full stop. So it's something that I'm very passionate about to talk about. But at the same time, I know exactly how heartbreaking it is for those of you who don't get the right grade that you wanted to get. But I want you to know that it's okay, and that you need to find solace in knowing that you did your best and you couldn't do any better than that. So I'm going to stop talking because I've been talking for a very long time now, and I'm going to let you get on with your day. Make it beautiful, make it worth something, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys!